Time to take it to the dirt. This is Slingin Dirt, 1 hour of dirt track talk. Now, here are Ashley and David Stremme.
Hello and welcome. It is Tuesday again, and we are here to talk fender action, late models and modifieds. We are so glad you joined us today. Today we have a huge show on tap. We've got some young guns today. Josh Rice will be joining us. He has 3 modified wins and 3 super late model wins, and he's only 17 years old.
Only.
Clint Smith will also be joining us. He took a wild ride at Sanoa. I knew I was going to jump
Home of the Clantons.
And Clint Smith.
Yes.
And last but not least, Tyler Nicely will be joining us. We'll talk a little bit about his Falls win, even though Falls was a couple weeks ago.
Yep. He's had a good season.
He's
and
also
he's from
a young gun, too.
Owensboro, Kentucky.
From
where Waltrops are from. But
anyhow, we are the Stremmes, my lovely sidekick, my husband, the man, the myth, the legend, the boss man.
So we went to Portsmouth, Ohio this weekend.
We did.
And just Saturday, drove up, come back, pretty busy in the shop. And I was like, let's go up there. You know, they had a 3,000 win modified show, and the modifieds were, they had Atomic going on. You had Renegades of Dirt. There's a lot of stuff going on the East Coast. So, never been there. We showed up, and I've always heard, and of course you tweeted pictures of the place being underwater. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, we'll check this place out. And it's a really phenomenal facility.
It is beautiful. I
was amazed at, again, dirt track fans, how they support it, the drivers, and I had you look up, what's the gentleman's name?
Delmar Conley.
He is 72 or 3 years, 73 years old.
Young.
I watched this guy in the super late models in the dash, and he got after it. I mean, it was unreal. And a couple guys there told me, they're like, hey, that guy's 73 years old. I'm like, no way. And he got in a little incident. I don't know what happened in the feature, but it was really rough because they've had so much rain, and the water was, you know, it's saturated the dirt, and they haven't had a lot of racing there this year. Mm-hmm. But we were in the pits, and Kevin, who works for us, he was watching. He goes, oh, I was sitting in the car. He goes, hold on, it's going to be a minute. A late model had flipped, was up into the fence. It was really rough.
Love his heart, too. And drivers and crew guys, you guys can relate to this. When your night starts off bad, sometimes you just wish that you would have parked it in the trailer and left it there. The guy that ended up in the fence, love his heart, his night didn't start off real well. He was 2 trailers down from us, and I happened to look over, and his lift gate is literally on
sideways.
A 45-degree angle, and the car's on there, and it took him like an hour to finally get it down. And at that point, he probably should have just loaded it because he ended up with a junked race car.
We weren't sure if it was him, and then later we seen his crew running. I'm like, oh, he's had a bad night. But anyways, we ended up, Devin Gelpin ended up winning the modified race. He was pitted next to us. He had his late model there. It was cool to catch up with him. And I was hoping to give him a little competition, but I screwed up. We won the heat race and went through the scales and didn't know I had to go through the tech barn. So we had to start last in the B main. We won it, started last in the feature, and drove up to 4th.
I'm just curious as to how many people have won a heat and a B main.
Well, because
other than when you're like passing point steals.
The funny thing is that Gilpin, he said, well, I've done that before too, you know, and his crew was giving him a hard time, and I was like,
someone skipped the drivers meeting though.
Yeah, because we only have 2 crew guys, me and Kevin. Somebody was in the air conditioning.
That's
so
right.
Anyways, you know, it was my fault, but we had a blast. It was pretty racy, except for these tracks. I hate them dang earth-moving tires they have there.
Tires.
So I can get along with Wing Nation, who's up next, because all of them, the push-start cars, they don't like Uke tires either. So, but anyways, we had a great time there, drove back, met a lot of new fans, and got to see some old friends and
people
family,
there were really cool. And, you know, a lot of people will complain about a racetrack, and I think it all involves the people that run it. And I've got a huge shout out to everyone there.
Yep.
They were super great to work with, super friendly, extremely helpful.
Well, they have a big race. I think it's October 16th, 17th, 18th
World,
or something.
Finals.
World Dirt Track Finals.
For the late models. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but how about Jonathan Davenport picks up the win at Cedar Lake? You know, it was funny. I watched highlights of it. You know, I was texting with Rumley yesterday, or it was Sunday, and he's like, automatically, we were talking a couple technical things, and he's nonstop, you know, and I give them guys credit. They're working very, very hard, but they're on top of their game, and they're in a big streak, and really the dirt late model world's I wouldn't say upside down, but they're wondering what he's doing. It's no different than what Bloomer had done last year. So, but I got to give a shout out to Dennis Erb Jr. because he had another solid run. Moyer snuck in there right at the end, got second, but Dennis Erb really, he run very well. I thought for sure Mars run good early in the week, and I thought being his backyard he'd have run a little better, but there was really stiff competition. And I'm looking at, and we'll talk to Josh because I think he's going to be at the North-South Shootout at Florence this weekend. But, Davenport and a couple of the other guys, Jimmy Owens, they run some of them World Outlaw races, and now Lucas Oil's starting back up this weekend. So, guys like Francis and O'Neill and a lot of them who have been probably, I'm going to say, working on their stuff at the shop, getting ready for this, I'm kind of curious, and maybe Clint Smith can help us out. Davenport has been racing, and obviously it takes a little toll, but he's been winning, so he's on a big roll.
Yeah, but he's got momentum. What he's done this year is phenomenal. I mean, it's history being written right in front of us.
Yep.
And Jacqueline, a good friend of ours, she tweeted the other day that he's won over $300,000 just this year, and it's only August, and it's the beginning of August. And that's most dirt drivers' career earnings in a handful of months for him.
Well, they've been, again, they went to World Outlaw races and run there. So I think, though, you're going to see Don O'Neill. There's going to be other guys. I mean, they are working hard on their programs. And sometimes you got to stop and say, all right, hey, we're going to work. Maybe they've been testing. Who knows? So the North-South Shootout's going to be really cool at Florence, but Davenport's tough there.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've watched him run, and, Bloomer's tough. That's Francis's backyard. I think even it's Lanigan's backyard up there, so we'll see.
But Bloomer's been struggling. I mean, this past weekend was a perfect example. I mean, not to throw Bloomer under the bus by no means, but Davenport lapped him twice. He didn't even make the show. He had to take a provisional.
He just won 2 weeks ago at I-80.
I understand that.
So it's like he Falls wasn't his type of place. I'm not sticking up for him.
I'm not talking about Falls.
Hang on, but and I don't know Cedar Lake. I thought he probably would have run a little better, but I think sometimes, and I've done this, where you're going to try some stuff and just say, hey, we'll see what happens. And he's racing, just to
Well, and I think we've had this discussion, though. You don't test stuff at big races like that. You know what I mean?
You don't, and who knows? I don't know. I'm
Absolutely.
going to have to call my buddy
doubt.
Joe up at Sweets, or I'll call Scott or somebody and find out what happened. But that is very unlike him.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
But I will say, we got to watch. You got the O Show just lurking.
The O Show.
He's getting better. and I look at that and I go, Jimmy is really, he's working harder on his stuff. So there's so many people. And again, the year is so long in dirt late model racing that, it starts out there in February and they're digging. And sometimes you got to stop where I'm going to tell you, Rumley and Davenport are on a roll. And they're going to be hard to beat.
I want to give a shout out to Mikey Marlar. He came out of the box for the first time for the chicken one?
Chicken one. I don't know.
Butterball. It was the Butterball.
Oh, the Butterball race. Yes.
Anyhow, that was his first race out. He won that. They're coming back racing this year. He was up at Cedar Lake as well and was running in the top 2 at one point. Jumped a cushion. He fell back. I think he finished in the top 10. But I'm super excited that he's back. And he's going to do some more racing this year.
There's an example of, hey, he just stopped, regroups his program, come back out. So, and I think it all takes of how your time is going. But it's like Gilpin. Gilpin's he won at Moeller. I talked to him a little bit. I said, hey, the thing with your modified, I thought you weren't going to run for points. So him and Harrison got a heck of a battle going on. And
Gilpin's leading right now.
And he's leading. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy at Portsmouth. People accuse him of going to smaller races, but he can get it done. He won it at Flora in the big race. But he's working at late model, and I think the late model is going to help him with his modified program. And he said that he felt that it hurts it a little bit. He's trying to do back and forth, but he's got good crew there. He was doing very well in the late model, and he's looking to explore like a lot of other guys that have moved up into the late model program. But I gotta give a shout out to and I know he was in our car, but he wasn't. But Kyle Strickler, he won at Kentucky Lake, and I gotta say it was in one of our customer cars. He went there.
Michael Turner.
And I'm telling you, there was Nicely was there, Matt Meverett. I mean, Bryce Jewell. There's a list of modified guys that were there. That was also 3,000 to win, and he ended up winning that, and he's out in Iowa this week. You got to watch it. They have the Night of 1,000 Stars, Night of 10,000 Stars, all in Britt, Iowa. They got a big racing going on, so good luck to him out there.
And some other race winners. Stovall won last night. Casey Roberts, Clanton, Davenport, Fergie won. He picked up the win at Cherokee. Weaver, Vic Hillett as well. I love this name, Chad Thrash.
Chad Thrash. Where's he from?
I don't know, but he won at Columbus Speedway.
Columbus Speedway. I got to talk about Clanton real quick. I was a little surprised. He had to come through some qualifiers and do some stuff, but he had run good Tuesday, but not at Shawano, which we screwed that up last week. But anyways, I was a little surprised, but I know he's glad to be heading home. I talked to him, and he was out for like a month, been on the road. So how about any big block center steer car?
Yeah, just the same names as always. Hearn, Friesen. Oh, Matt Williamson. He picked up his first Super Dirt Car Series win last night at Merrittville. So that's cool.
Those guys don't get enough credit for their – they race a lot.
They do.
A ton.
And it seems like it's always the same guys winning. But, and shout out to Friesen. He passed Johnny Schatz for the World of Outlaws sprint car win. So that's kind of a big deal, too. Oshwegan. Yes. And his wife's sprint car.
I was going to say, cool. I hope Spring Nation or Wing Nation.
Spring Nation.
Yeah, Sprint Car Nation. Wing Nation gives him some love because that's a big block guy there. He's a wheel man, and he got after it. And to beat Donnie Schatz is saying something.
Yeah, no doubt. Fun fact of the week, it was actually 2 weeks ago, but I had to tell you about it because we always talk about the big blocks against the small blocks. They had a big block race versus the late models.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How'd that work out?
Well, a late model won, but it was at Delaware International.
I mean,
Delmar,
I've been there. I'm like, I could have picked that
Delaware.
Delaware. They call him, what do they call him? School buses. I heard Kyle, he was talking about
who knows?
Dirt buses or something, but anyways, we got Josh up next.
We'll be back to talk to Josh Rice and Clint Smith. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
They touch, they bump, they head for turn number one.
This is Darlington.
Ricky Craven gets the win.
On these hallowed grounds, tradition is coveted because it's about where we come from.
Elliott takes it and wins the Winston Million
and where we're headed.
Chase Elliott wins here at the Darlington Race.
Tradition returns Labor Day weekend with the Bojangles Southern 500. Celebrate the next great chapter September 4th through the 6th. For tickets, call 866-459-RACE or visit darlingtonraceway.com.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, the host of NASCAR Live. We've been taking your calls every Tuesday night for over 30 years, but now you don't have to wait for Tuesday. Call Motor Racing Network's fan hotline at 844-4-ASK-MRN.
I think Kyle Busch should be able to step right in and run for the championship if he gets a win. Just like any other sports figure, they're out for part of the season because of an injury. They come in, they win the championship, they win the trophy.
Be a part of the voice of NASCAR. Call 844-4-ASK-MRN.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
You're listening to Slingin Dirt with the Stremmes. Joining us now, he's won 3 modified races and 3 super late model races. He's only 17 years old. He is the driver of the number 11. It is Josh Rice. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
The last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of young guns on our show. My heart is happy because our sport is flourishing with young guns coming through. You're 17 years old. You've won 3 mods, 3 late model races. It's just unfathomable what you've accomplished at your age already.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's cool having the people behind us that makes it possible. I just can't thank all the guys enough that help out and make it possible.
I first seen you or had heard about you a little bit was down in Speed Weeks. You guys come in, kind of park by us a little bit, and I think you do run Jay Dickens Motors, right?
Yeah.
So Jay, I heard you guys from him a little bit, and I watch you run, and you run the modified and the late models, and kind of kept up with you a little bit. You have had a really stellar year. What is probably the biggest thing you've learned from last year to this year?
Really just kind of stay focused. Just keep up on the cars, keep them, high in maintenance, and keep them together good, making sure they're all ready to go for the weekend, and just stay concentrated on the cars, making sure everything's ready to go when we get to the racetrack, and just stuff like that.
Do you do your own setups and work on them, or obviously you probably have some help, but have a lot of influence?
Yeah, it's pretty much me throughout the week on the car, me and my dad and my brother, and we got this guy that started just a few weeks back. His name's Eric Fullwood. He does the tires or whatever, but it's normally it's pretty much me and my dad in my car, and me and my brother and my dad on his car, and it's just pretty much us.
Now, you mentioned your brother, James. He's 23 years old, and he also races late models. Do you guys, how is the brotherly love there? Do y'all get along? Do you share secrets, or do you try to keep that stuff to yourself?
He tried, he was trying some stuff a couple weeks ago, and he tried to keep it away from me, but I seen him messing with it or whatever, and I started asking him, but we normally we're pretty cool with each other. We try helping each other out, and if somebody tries something that works, then we'll pass it along. And we're very competitive. It gets pretty heated sometimes in the shop, but we normally can work it out, and it's pretty cool.
Is Dad more the referee, or is he like, listen, boys, I've done this, and is he?
Yeah. He's like, all right, I've heard enough. It's it's time to move on. It's racing, and we normally move on and just laugh about it later. But it's pretty cool.
So a couple weeks ago, I'd seen and again, I apologize, I didn't get over to say hi or anything, but we were at Fairbury, and I seen you racing. Was that your first visit there?
Yeah. Well, the problem was we thought Friday and Saturday night were two separate shows, and we knew that we had to win the feature or win the heat race to make the show for Friday night. So I didn't know they took top three, so I was trying to win the heat race and stuffed at the fence and kind of ruined our weekend there.
What about the whole environment there with the fans and everything? What do you think of all that?
I thought it was awesome. The fan base there it's unreal. It's like any place I've been. I thought it was awesome, and we'll probably be returning next year. It was really cool.
It was our first trip too, and I was
impressed.
How about, because you were right by the pit gate where they come out of grandstands? How about there at the end when they flooded the pits?
They've been saying all week, there's 2,000 people that'll come walking by it right there, and they're like, yeah, whatever. And it was cool. There was people everywhere as soon as the race was over, and it was true what they've been saying all weekend. It was really cool.
Now I see Cuzman Racing on everything. Give me the story behind that.
Well, he last year it was I guess it was 2 years ago. It was in the middle of July around 2013 season. One of our crew members had been talking to him. His name's John Kuzman, and him and his wife, John and Kylie Kuzman, they come to a race in the middle of July in 2013, and it was actually my first modified feature win, and they just tagged along after that, and they love it just as much as we do, and they've been a big help, and I just can't thank them enough because they've changed our whole racing program. It's really cool what they've done for us.
That's awesome. How so this weekend Florence is kind of like your home track, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 9 minutes down the road. I can see the lights where I'm standing right now.
So is
they
this?
Have them on, I can see them.
Is this your Daytona 500 this coming weekend, the North-South Shootout?
Yeah, it's the biggest race of the year for us and for our home track anyway. And yeah, we actually took this weekend off to get the cars ready and get them all freshened up, looking good. And I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to put you on the spot because I know you race mods and late models. Which would you rather and why?
I don't know. I like the late models better because I guess they're a lot faster and they handle a lot better. But if I were to say the mods, I'd say that because they're a lot more maneuverable and more raceable. But I'd say late models though. They're pretty fun.
Let me ask you this, because I've wondered this, and Gilpin, when we were at Portsmouth this weekend, I was asking him, and I'll tell you his answer in a minute. But do you feel late models are really chassis dependent, meaning setups? If you're off a little bit, it's pretty hard to kind of carry it. Where modified, you can kind of just get up on the wheel a little bit and make a charge.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because mods, I feel like it's more based on the driver. And heck, late models, I drove a 2003 Rocket at practice one night, and it was set up good, and it was terrible. I wasn't any good at all, and now I get in this club car, and heck, I'm running up front the first weekend in it. So yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt to have a good late model.
Now you still, I mean, I've watched Davenport and Pearson and all these guys. Them late models, you still get up on the wheel, not taking nothing away from them, but because I got a lot of friends in the late models. They're going to be on my tail here pretty soon. But I know you're just getting into late models, and that's what your modified background. That's why I asked it. But are you going to do double duty this weekend, or just stick to the late models?
Actually, we're just going to stick to late models. We're actually trying to get rid of the mod, try and get another late model motor for our program.
Well, that's awesome.
Well, since you said getting rid of the mod, I mean, you're 17 years old. You're doing phenomenal stuff already. Is late models where you see your future and where you kind of want to stick with it?
Yeah, because I believe that when you run good in late models, it's easier getting your name out. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I mean, I've won a lot of mod races, and I feel like just the short time I've been in late models, it's helped me get my name out there a lot better. And I think we'll for sure stick to late models.
Do you see? I mean, so are you talking? You want to run some asphalt in the future, or you just want to stick?
I don't know. I think that would be cool, but right now I'm happy where I'm at with late models.
Hey, enjoy your time on the dirt. I'm telling you, I have a. Not knocking the asphalt. I got to be careful what I say here, but
this comes from an asphalt driver.
Yeah, I mean, dirt's not my background, but I love it. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But do you? We've had Bobby Pierce on the show. We've had Devin Moran, a lot of the younger guys. Do you talk to them, or have you met up with them any?
Oh yeah, about every time we go outdoor, we stop and we talk to them for a little bit. They're really cool. They're pretty good friends of mine. And, down in Indianapolis, the PRI show in Indy or whatever. We met up with them, went go-kart racing and stuff. They're really cool guys to hang out with.
So who is, besides your dad and brother, that you've leaned on for, late model advice? Is it Lanigan because of the Club 29, or is there what are some of the drivers that help you out?
Lanigan for sure. He's actually been a huge help. I couldn't believe it really. He's helped me and my brother out a ton, and pretty much just Lanigan. And Chris Ferguson, he's helped us out a little bit. He's been pretty cool with us.
He's a good guy.
Those are two good ones to have in your stable for sure.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a little advice because I've seen this happen. And what I love about dirt racing, it reminds me a lot of asphalt when ASA Tour and a lot of them were around. Is we could see, and I see this with Clanton and Lanigan. A lot of guys they'll take and they will help younger guys. But as you start kicking their butt, they're not going to tell you as much. So you're going to have to work on your own, which I know you'll do good at. But that's just something to kind of watch.
Yeah.
Like you go out there and you win this north-south shootout, they're not going to be helping you no more.
Lanigan will, but
maybe they'll be asking me, and I'll get to help them a little bit.
That's good. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So
love it.
How about dirt track finals? You going to make it down here to Charlotte?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's our big trip this year.
That'll be awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Maybe we can have you and your brother on the show when y'all are down here.
That would be cool.
That is good. Well, hey, thanks for having us on, and we'll be following you. And again, keep up the hard work. And I know you've been doing very well. And good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh. Awesome. I'm serious. My heart beams when we talk to these younger kids.
Don't you remember? I was like, go over there and get their number because,
listen, we only had 9 million other things going on that
I know,
weekend.
but what was cool is because you had, I think it was his dad and him racing. Mm-hmm. And I'd followed through the weekend. I didn't know he was leading the heat and it wrecked, but he had done a phenomenal job for never been into the falls. And I know this weekend's really big, the north-south shootout. And I've watched him, and again, I think he handles himself very well. He's very respected by his other racers, and that's the thing that you see with younger guys, and I've seen it and grown up around it, where a younger guy, he won't go ask a veteran guy, or he's, I know it all, or this. And I love it hearing like him and Pierce and Moran and all these guys, how they lean on that experience. And I think that makes them a lot better when they're done.
Absolutely. And I mean, the fact that they're beating this experience at such a young age is really
They're
impressive
tough.
as well. But
Well, you know what I think? Because they work on their cars. They just
right.
don't show up and drive. They work on them.
Absolutely.
But the guy that we got to talk to next, we'll go to break, he's definitely got work on his car because he went for a wild ride.
Weekend, for sure. Clint Smith and Tyler Nicely are with us next, right after the break, here on Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
you'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 Cessna Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
It's a crazy place. It's easy to get lost out there.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Wonder Woman at the front of the field, Danica Patrick.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
I can whistle out and in. Wait, nope, failed. Sorry.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt. We're your hosts, Ashley and David Stremme, and thank God you can't hear what we do during the breaks, but it's a good time here on Slingin Dirt. With us now on the line, he went for a wild ride this weekend. He is the cat daddy, Clint Smith. Welcome to the show, Clint.
Oh, glad to be on.
So how are you feeling on this fine Tuesday?
Actually, other than my car tore up, I feel fine. I have not even a sore spot or a bruise or anything. So shows you how good the safety equipment's come around nowadays. That I remember the days when we run a little bit of fiberglass seat with not even a headrest. So I'd hate to have that in this weekend. But we had a LaJoy seat in the car, and one of the most comfortable seats and safest, and Simpson apparel as far as the seat belts and helmet, and not a scratch on nothing. So fortunate I got out of that without no injuries.
Now, I told the wife here, I said, hey, I want to have Clint on the show. And it wasn't because of this big wreck. You've had a really good season. You've been running very well. But I wanted to get your input on, you've come off a tour, and you've kind of gone back to your local area racing and doing stuff. Besides the financial stress it takes of being on a tour and doing things, what is the biggest influence? Was it just wanting to be at home more, or what was it?
Well, we just been on the road for probably 20, 25 years of racing since '85 area. So we've been on the road a long time, and I don't even hardly know any of the local racers last year. You know, they talk about a new guy winning in limited or something like that, and we don't even know who they are. And it's a shame that I was running like 2 or 3 races a year in the state of Georgia. So we just on the road so much, so long, and it just got to be such a hassle. And then the financial part of it is you can't get anything done at the house, or not that I'm going to do any yard work much, but any kind of fixing around the house, or like a TV goes out, or wash machine and dryer, just instant. I got to call somebody, a buddy of mine, something to go do it for me because we're on the road or don't have time when we actually at the house. So stuff like that was getting to be drug out and got old after a period of time, and then just always on the go and never had any steady money. You was always relying on how good you run on the road and trying to put pressure on yourself to do good. And sometimes you get to running tight out there because you know the money situation. So you yourself, David, know the difference, between an open checkbook and trying to run on a budget, because you've done the stage so far in racing. So if you got the money and you got the talent, but if you ain't got the money behind you, then you're not going to look as good as some of the guys that's not as good as you that's got money. So that got to be a big issue in the last 4 or 5 years especially, and I had to start looking more for what I need to set up for in the future, which is, money and something to retire on. So now I got anywhere from 10 to 15 cars in the yard on any given week getting ready. Well, that don't leave me any time to do anything but make it over here to my local track, and which has been fun racing over there. And this weekend was not, but other than that, it's been a great racetrack all year. And the other night was just great. We just got the car too fast for the track conditions. So it's been fun to be back around home, and I hadn't missed the road at all, and I thought I would. But especially when all the World Outlaw guys drove out to Gillette, Wyoming, and got rained out. So
yeah,
I knew that was a good time not to be on tour.
Hey, I'll tell you, and I follow you on Twitter and everything else, and I love it. You talked about working on 14, 15 cars, because I've seen Ryan Crane, who was an asphalt guy. You got him in a crate car, correct?
Yes.
And then I see, Bubba Pollard. Is he getting in a car?
He's going to run Friday night at Benton, Alabama right now, a series race down there, and going to run Saturday night at Sonoy. And
awesome.
Actually done pretty good. We tested with him last Tuesday, and he actually drove his first crate race a couple weeks ago and started last and run 4th or 5th. So he loved it. He said it was fun, and no pressure on him to do that because he is pretty much dominating the asphalt world right now in the short track. So
yep.
He's got something going on there, and that's some of the stuff we were doing on my car this weekend. It got it so good, and the end result wasn't good, but what we learned is good. So that help from them asphalt side, like Ryan and Bubba, has kind of bled over to help on the dirt side. So there's not a whole lot of difference in them two worlds except for the surface, and the shock packages and spring packages kind of bleeding over between each other now. So hopefully we can continue to get better at what we're doing.
Well, I seen that on Twitter today, and I loved it because I know on your show we've talked about it and trying to get some of those guys that on dirt, and it's just real enjoyable, and the people and doing everything. So is that what your future is? Is, hey, we're gonna take care of cars? Are you gonna build cars? Or are you just gonna service cars? Or where is Cat Daddy's future at here?
We try to keep one car being built at all times or a big repair going on, which happens to be my car this week, but usually it's a customer car. And then we maintain 4 or 5 other cars on a regular basis, and then 3 or 4 other cars just come in and go, like regular customers. So it's been a full-time deal for me and my 2 guys, and so far we've got everybody back every week to the racetrack in 100% condition, so hopefully keep that going the rest of the year. And then we're either going to get more help or do something different for next year. We've got to have more shop and more manpower for sure. But it seems like the way we want to go here is to run more of a local touring deal maybe next year and get out a little bit more than what we're doing this year. But right now we enjoy running some North Speedway. I run a couple of different classes and help customers with their cars in another class and drive it for them. Sometimes it's to get rid of an excuse. Sometimes it's to see what's wrong with their car. So it's that's been a good deal doing that. A few of the other guys don't like it because I'm dropping back classes, but it's mainly I don't intend on dropping back to continue racing that class. I'm just helping a customer out with a car or something and find out what's wrong with it and get them going better. And it's just been enjoyable to do. And then we're going to start a school at the end of the year here at North Speedway that we haven't really announced yet. But me
you heard
and
it here first.
Dave Massey and Bill Massey and Doug Stevens been talking about doing a school and maybe getting Shane Clanton involved with me, and which he's having a heck of a year on the World Outlaw Tour. So hopefully we can get all together and have a good school going and kind of teaching these guys what we learned in the days on the road. So we get to bring that back home with us.
Now, is it going to be like the fundamentals of, setups and all that stuff, or is it going to be more of the driver side of things?
It'll be mainly a school day right here at the shop, we'll pick one of the cars to set up and show what bar movements do and what front end changes do and what actually caster and camber is to some people. And if they want to do an advanced deal, we get into bumps, drops, and Ackerman and all that kind of stuff. But usually the dirt world is just line your front end up pretty good, and you're pretty good shape with the tires and all we run. So, but you got somebody that come from the asphalt world like Bubba and Ryan that really get into the bump stop stuff and the Ackerman stuff, and and they really want to understand that. So if somebody wants to really get into that kind of front end stuff, we'll do that type of school. But mainly just a general setup and show you what ball movements do and what the bird cage does, or floaters in some people's world. But and then we'll go to the racetrack and let them actually race and make laps, and then we'll come in and make some stupid changes to show them what making a mistake on a setup will do. We'll take the spoiler down for them and show them what happens if you knock the spoiler off, and just some stuff like that. Do something a little different than what just a general school is. We want people to experience what happens when you make a mistake or don't concentrate or make errors in your setup, stuff like that. So we're going to try to just kind of widen it out a little bit and then show people what it does when you do the right moves. So most schools do that already, but we want to show people what it does to do the wrong moves also.
Man, I got to go to this school. I do. Hey, so with you not being on the road and doing stuff, but if you had, let's just say you had a sponsor, and they said, hey, we're going to let you go to one race or two or whatever, what would it be? What would be your favorite place to go back out on the road and go to?
Sponsor-wise, I've never actually run what's the name? Knoxville, Iowa. I like to go to that big race at the end of the year if money wasn't an option to have the best motor and best equipment there. That would be a great race to actually attend one time. I've already done the Eldora thing, all their shows and everything they've done many, many times, but I've never done that actual one. And then another deal I would do is the Arizona Tour one spring, I guess winter, it is. I'd like to do that tour one time and get that done. And,
did you see where they
two good things to do?
Did you see where they put up this big bonus, Kaiser Manufacturing? They put up like if you win 6 races, it's like a $250,000 bonus, and I think it's like if you win 5 out of 6, it's $100,000, and if you win 4 out of 6, it's like $50,000. That's pretty good money.
Well, Davenport's already gonna win that. So.
Hey, but with that being said, and where do you think dirt racing's at? You said you were on the road 25 years. Do you think it's at its peak? Do you think it's peaked yet? Where do you think the sport is of dirt racing?
I don't know. I think you hear tracks closing, but when you hear one closing, one opens, or other tracks get bigger and more crowded. So around here, Sonora had, through the last 5 years up until this year, it was getting down to 30 cars a week total. But now they're up above 100 about every week. Except for last week was a little down because of all the vacations everybody takes in the south. But they generally ride around 90 to 110 cars now. So how do you say it's going downward when they just gain back that many cars? And I do think it's somebody like myself that comes back in the area and rejuvenates all the local guys that's kind of halfway quit or not having a good time, and I supply a way they can get back into it. If you get 3 or 4 more people like myself around one certain racetrack, then you're going to re-energize the community also. And then they reopened Snow and resurfaced it, and you got new excited promoters coming in, and that also helps the big scene. It get everybody rejuvenated too. So stuff like that is all what racing needs. And like you and your wife doing this show here gets people interested, and then I do a radio show also. Ray Cook does a little radio show up there also, and all that getting people on the air and gets them interested, and man, we've got to be on the show and stuff like that. It makes a big impact in the racing world, and I think if we can keep people that's interested in helping people, we can keep racing where it is or even make it better for many years.
And to tag on to the end of that a little bit with what you're saying, what about all these asphalt guys? I mean, we've talked to several in the last few weeks that are converting to dirt.
Well, I think it's like I've been kind of talking to Bubba about, and you've been there, David. If you get some money person behind you, and let's face it, that's what it takes to make it to the trucks, the Nationwide, and the Cup stuff is money. Tyler gets you so far, but you got to have money, and that's period. And when you do the short track stuff so long trying to get somebody interested, listen, Bubba Pollard, he's a friend of mine, but let's face it, he's one of the best on the short track world.
Yep.
And can make it any day on Sunday.
Yep.
But he's got to have a bunch of money to get there. It ain't just on talent like it used to be in the older days. And I think once them guys like Ryan Crane and Bubba, for instance, they just on top of my list because they're right here at the house. When they figured out that that's kind of where they're going to be, well, it's a lot cheaper to run dirt and have a lot more fun and make a little money and don't cost you a fortune to run dirt, where asphalt costs so much to run, even on a short track basis.
Even
so I think that's why they're bleeding back and forth so much now is they can kind of afford to run dirt and have a good time doing it.
And the time consumption it takes on asphalt is crazy. But
we go. Bubba could not understand the first week we win. I said, "You need to get ready to go. We're fixing the hot lap." Well, all right. Well, he missed the whole first hot lap session. I said, "Bubba, what are you doing?" Well, we're getting up a couple. I said, "No, not today."
Yeah.
The hot laps are over. So I talked to the promoters and they were going to start kind of getting the rear of the limited guys and getting some laps. So saved him a couple of laps there. But you get 2 laps of hot laps, usually green, white, checkered.
Yep.
You run 2 qualifying laps or draw for a heat race. And you do that, then you line up for the feature.
That's right.
In 25 laps, you're going home. You have done all your racing in one little segment.
Yep.
And that asphalt world, you got to go practice for 2 days and wear out, I don't know how many tires. It's insane. And then race all day. I don't get it, but I think the short track asphalt is where they're hurting at it. I think they should come in there, do it like the dirt world. You get qualify, line up and go. And that's,
absolutely.
And I think make a lot, even on Sunday. I think the Cup stuff could be a lot better if they done the short, kind of like do Eldora. That was the truck stuff up there was an excellent show, and it's compact into one set, one day. And I think that's what it needs, so you don't have all day to tune your cars.
Well,
for everybody to run the same speed.
And hopefully they can learn from that because as society's changing, racing's got to change and time is very valuable to people. So, but hey, we got our next guest on. You know how it is. We got to pay some bills and have a commercial. Thanks for being on the show, and we'll have you back on. I appreciate it, Cat Daddy.
We could talk to you forever, but thank you, Clint. We appreciate it.
Anytime, y'all need me to call me.
That sounds good. Thank you. Love it. His mentality is like spot on with everything too.
He's seen a lot. He's very knowledgeable. He's traveled around. I'd love to have him back on because there's a lot of things that I feel he has a very good knowledge of.
Perspective.
And for people listening that could learn some stuff. So
absolutely. Well, Tyler Nicely joins us next here on Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
The Cascadia Evolution is the latest innovation from Freightliner Trucks, the official hauler of NASCAR. Powered exclusively by the Detroit Integrated Powertrain, the Cascadia Evolution achieves up to a 7% increase in fuel economy over the first-generation EPA 2010 compliant Cascadia model, keeping you on the road and in the race longer. For more information, visit FreightlinerTrucks.com. Freightliner Trucks, a division of Daimler Trucks North America. Freightliner Trucks. Run smart.
This is Steve Post.
And I'm Kendra Jacobs.
Join us every Saturday morning at 9:30 Eastern Time for MRN's Wing Nation on MAV TV.
We'll talk with the biggest names in winged sprint car racing, from the world of outlaws to your local winged sprint car track. We cover it all.
Plus, we'll preview each weekend's biggest winged sprint car races from around the country.
MRN's Wing Nation, 9:30 Eastern Time, Saturday mornings on MAV TV.
If you don't get MAV TV, go to getmavtv.com to find your local TV provider and let them know you want MAV TV.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back. We're the Stremmes, and you're listening to Slingin Dirt. And just as you heard, Kendra and Steve are on MAV TV every Saturday morning, so make sure you check them out. And they're on after the show, after us, so keep your dial tuned in right here.
Wing Nation.
To talk about sprint cars, as David likes to call them, push-start cars.
Push-starts.
But joining us
They're
now,
wild.
He's not a push-start car driver. He's a modified driver. We race with him several times a year. It's Tyler Nicely. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Hey.
Hey, how are you today?
Good, you?
Doing well. Thanks for being on the show. So I just want to, I know it's a couple weeks past, but I want to bring up Falls. It was our first time there. Amazing place, and you picked up the win. You won flag. I think you led flag to flag, correct?
And
yes.
Run third on Friday.
That's
so
right.
How was that a pretty special win for you?
Yeah, we followed the Summer Nationals tour all year and wasn't able to get a win earlier in the tour, but the final race we knocked one off, so it felt good to me. Always wanted to win at Falls because, like you said, it's a very nice place. The fans, the atmosphere there, it's unreal.
Was that your first time to Falls?
No, that was actually the third.
Okay.
Third.
So you talked about the Hell Tour. I mean, you had a heck of a run going, really giving Harrison a battle, but it takes a lot. And we've talked to Bobby Pierce and Shannon Babb and a lot of these guys about running the Hell Tour. Was it just from not having enough people, or what stopped you kind of from running all the shows?
Harrison started clicking off the wins like he usually does, and we don't really have a full-time crew, so we gotta see whenever our people can get off work, take me racing and all that. So we kind of ran out of people to drive the truck, so we just opted just to see what we could do with what we had.
And then wasn't there some AMS shows involved in that too?
Yeah, we missed a couple due to the American Modified Series shows, which we're
leading.
Second in points. Now we're actually second in points now.
How'd that happen? Because you were leading that.
We broke a rocker arm at Florence one night. That kind of hurt us.
You'll have that in big time.
Speaking of Florence, they got the big North-South shootout this weekend. Is it on your plans to head there?
Actually, I think we're going to go to Tri-City Speedway that Friday and I-55 on Saturday.
That's an awesome area to go to for a lot of people don't know. The Gundakers do a phenomenal job with their show. And then, of course, Schrader's track there at Peevely, and they call that like or not Little Vegas, but it's like the premier. Harrison was on the show last week talking about it. What makes you go over there? Is it just a competition, or you just you like running on them places?
I like running with the competition, which a lot of people know that Illinois is a lot stronger place to run. Plus, we're going to be running Mod Mania at Tri-City Speedway here in a couple weeks, so use Granite City as a test and tune type deal. And I've never been able to run I-55, so I think they're having a little added money this weekend, so that'll make the trip worth it.
Well, I think it's cool. You are from Kentucky, and I kind of envy you because I feel like you can either jump to the South or jump to the Midwest real quick, being between those, and kind of race with some of the best all in this area. I mean, Kentucky Lakes there, and then you go up to the Midwest of Falls and all that stuff. But I read on your website that you were possibly running some asphalt sportsman cars this year.
Yeah, we actually built a street stock car for Salem Speedway that we were going to run Halloween 200 at the end of the year and all that. We haven't actually got the car finished, but it's still in the works that we're going to get that done and do some asphalt racing.
It's funny because she beat me to it. I was going to ask you if you were going to do that. And when we were at Portsmouth last week, we were parked next to Gilpin, and I'm talking to him, and he brought up that Halloween 200. He's like, man, I'd love to run that. What is it about that race that just intrigues you guys to want to run there?
It started out a couple years ago as just an enduro race, and now it's, come to just actually a big stock car race. Pays $5,000 to win, 200 laps, and just on the high banks of Salem, half mile just makes it, I think everybody wants to run there.
So is it just for fun, or, is asphalt a direction that you want to go to?
Eventually, yeah, I'd like to direct my career towards asphalt, but I'm content where I'm at right now in dirt racing. It makes it fun being able to go to all around the country racing dirt trucks.
Is it something like we talked to Josh Rice? He had modifieds. He's moved up to late models. Is that something that you look at too, as possibly moving up to dirt late models?
I'd like to. Next year we got a couple options that me and Dad talked about. We thought about doing some USMTS racing next year, and then I want to do a late model, but like I said about the Summer Nationals, I don't have a full-time crew, so late model racing's takes a lot more than mod.
You talk about your dad and your crew. Give them a little shout out. I know it's very family friend oriented for you, which I think it is for most drivers, which is awesome. But how involved is your family?
Which, you know, my dad, he owns everything. He works his butt off Monday through Friday at the salvage yard to provide me with everything I need to go to the dirt track on the weekend. And my mom, she's always, you know, number one supporter. My girlfriend Taylor, my little sister, and then my truck driver BJ Hall and Josh Reinerson. You know, like I said, they take off work to take me to the racetrack every weekend. And also, I got a little 11-year-old kid that's helped me all summer. He's been at the shop every day, and you know, he's learned a lot, and it means a lot for all them people to volunteer their time just to come help us.
That's awesome.
Has he been doing more than just washing that car?
Yeah, he washes it, and you know, he does the sticks on the weekend, and we joke around with him, telling him he's one of the youngest crew chiefs out there.
Love it.
Do they give him a hard time anywhere for like being his age and getting in, or?
Yeah, some places. I think he's upset that he might not get to go to Eldora for the Fall Nationals this year because of his age to get in the pits. But
that's awesome though, because that's what keeps the sport coming up.
Yeah, we got to get him some growth. I have him start drinking some milk or something, you know. A lot more milk. But you talk about, you know, the Granite City and everything. Obviously, the goal is probably to win the AMS points this year.
Yeah, that was our goal before we started the season, was to win the AMS points, and we really just wanted to run top 5 in Summer National points, and we ended up second in that deal. So right now we're going all right, I guess.
Now, your dad, when you talked about him, and I always love getting to talk to him at the racetrack, but I don't know, was he racing? Did he do a lot of racing when you were younger?
He raced street stocks whenever I was younger. That's all I can remember. He had a modified, but he didn't race the mod very much.
Then you come along, and at 14, you first got in the car, correct?
Yes.
That's awesome. You talked about your dad in the salvage yard. Do you work on your race car all week, or is there a job behind the scenes as well?
No, I just worked on the car all week.
Awesome. That's
cool.
Cool.
A lot of work too, because I'm gonna tell you, as much racing that you've done, and I don't know how.
Especially with the Hell Tour.
Yeah, I don't know how them guys do it with the Hell Tour. I know Shannon Babb, he talked about he had 3 cars and he was getting ready, and I go, man, it is insane. A lot of the tracks and the traveling and everything else. Is it something after the Hell Tour you kind of said, okay, hey, we got to stop here a week or two and kind of regroup?
Yeah, that was actually the plan last weekend. We were supposed to take a weekend off and just relax. Well, that didn't work out. We wanted to all go racing, so we just finished up the car and went racing last weekend.
Well, I saw on your schedule online, which I'm sure it's as they come, there's no races scheduled for the month of August.
Yeah, that's we've been thinking about it in the shop all week where we need to go, and there's really not very many money shows in August, so we've figured out that we're just going to probably go to Illinois every weekend and run with them guys and try and get a little bit better up there.
That's awesome. See, it is August, honey, and he said he was going to Granite, so you can't go by his schedule.
Sorry,
it'll be
it'll be
different. But anyway, so as you move forward, and you got obviously you're going back to Falls, you got to feel pretty good for the big 10,000 win they have coming up there.
Yeah, you know, that place when we first went there this earlier in the season with AMS, we started 18th and ran 4th, and that place is just real racy. So, you know, I'm looking forward to the 10,000. There should be a bunch of good competition there. So I feel pretty confident going into it.
How about the fans, though? I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's what people ask me whenever we got back home about them. And, you know, it's unreal, like, all the fans that are there. Then after the races, they'll just come hang out at the trailer, and it's unreal.
I know I missed it because we were trying to get out of there, but they had a DJ on the back of Davenport's hauler playing, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, that is wild. I mean, have you ever seen anything like that?
That's the first time I've seen anything like it. You know, the fans, you know, I think racing needs more places like that, you know, where the fans get involved with everything.
Absolutely agree.
I totally agree.
I want to ask, there's your car number. It's a personal question, actually. I've always wondered what the deal is behind the itty-bitty 2 in your really big 5.
Well, a couple years ago when we switched chassis, I wanted to change my number also. And so Dad told me I could, so we switched to 5. And we didn't have a very good season that year, so he's real superstitious, so he said we need to go back to 25. Well, I met in the middle and put a small 2 and just a big 5.
And it's worked out.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. Well, hey, we appreciate you being on the show here, and we'll have to have you back on. You win that championship, and good luck to you.
All right, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it.
The 11-year-old he's training in the shop. That's awesome. I know.
It's so cool because that's what our futures build on, and the fact that even if he is just sweeping the shop floors. I mean, I remember when I was a kid doing that. It wasn't my favorite job, but
I know your dad, and he probably worked you hard.
He did.
Not hard enough, but
whatever. You're crazy.
Anyways, hey, but it is interesting. You brought up a point of where he's located. He can kind of hit a lot of different areas. He can go to Indiana, Illinois, Ohio. Shoot through that area. There's so much racing, and it's like us, we drove 5 hours to go to the modified race. Modifieds aren't as big in the Southeast, but late models are. And
well, it's funny, when we went to Portsmouth this weekend, everybody's like, thanks for coming so far, and we're like, what? That's not really that far.
I want to give a shout out though. It was awesome because Burt Myers, he was coming to the people that next door to us, this LFR, they sell asphalt modifieds. Burt Myers come in the shop.
Oh, he did?
And I said, hey, how about that dirt guy beating you, And I told him, I told Ferguson, I said that, 8 wheels turn better than 4. I said, I know where you race, but he said it was awesome. He come up with this excuse. He said that, well, they said they were going to give this halfway break, and we kind of, I stayed back, and then all of a sudden it's a white flag. Look, he got his butt whooped by dirt boys. So.
Well, I heard that next year they're going to do it on dirt, so we'll see how that works.
They should do it in school buses. What are you talking about? But Ferguson did a great job. He ended up winning the battle there, and he had a pretty good weekend, too, of racing. He won there at Cherokee. So, I mean, there was really good weekend for him, and there's a lot of other guys. I mean, I'd seen, I'm trying to think here.
Where's Dolac?
Yeah, Dolac needs to tweet me in. Anyways, this weekend, Fayetteville's putting up, they got Renegades of Dirt, the modifieds there. I mean,
some big racing for the late models. Right. Tornado Tuesday is tonight at West Liberty. Lucas for the North-South at Florence, $50,000 to win. That's going to be won by Davenport, of course.
I wouldn't put. Listen, I like see Davenport win, but I wouldn't put all my money on him.
USMTS on Thursday at 81 Speedway, Friday at Humboldt, Saturday at Lucas Oil in Wheatland, Missouri. Yep. Now, Houlihan said that you have to take me there because it's the most beautiful place ever.
Youngins,
your friend Chase.
We gave Chase a nickname, Houlihan, because I have a hard time saying his name. But
no, you just couldn't remember it, just like everything else you can't remember.
He had a good run this past weekend.
But Super Dirt Car Series is tonight at Ransomville and Thursday at Weedsport. I forgot. USMTS is Sunday at Monet.
They got the hunt coming up, and I know everybody's getting. It's a big 2 weeks of racing. USMTS does, but also it's getting fair week in the Midwest. There's
excited.
A lot of racing going on, so go out, support your fairs, and the racing, especially dirt racing at the fairs, it's awesome.
Because the food's great. Wing Nation is coming up next with our friends Kendra and Steve. Thanks for joining us. We're the Stremmes. Later today, you can find Slingin Dirt in the Media Center at mrn.com, on iTunes, and at Race Day Nation on the iHeartRadio app. Yes, tweet us at Slingin Dirt. We love you. Mean it.
This has been Slingin Dirt with Ashley and David Stremme. Listen every Tuesday at 11 Eastern on mrn.com for more news, interviews, and opinion from dirt tracks all over America. Slingin Dirt is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.